Have you ever noticed the fuel filler indicator on your dashboard that points to one side of the car or the other, telling you where the gas cap is, and wondered, where did this come from? When did it come about? And is it required on cars by regulation? Well, I did. And so this turned into an interesting little rabbit hole I went down that actually spawned some other questions as well. Welcome back to All Cars, y'all. And let me take you back to April 1986. An interior designer at Ford named Jim Moylan had to go to a meeting. So he checked a car out from the motor pool, and when he got in, it was on empty. So he drove to a gas station in the pouring rain, and when he pulled up to the pumps, the gas cap wasn't on that side. And so he had to fuss with it all, went to his meeting, and then went back to his office and, still wet, typed up a proposal to his boss saying, the indicator or symbol I have in mind would be located near the fuel gauge and simply describe to the driver on which side of the vehicle the fuel filler door is located. Now, the podcast Every Little Thing did a whole episode which included this and an interview with him. It's very short. It was back from about 2018. It's really interesting, and you should go check it out. I'll provide a link to it below. But he basically forgot about it at that point. 7 months later, his boss replied and said, that's a good idea, and we're going to start doing it for new and redesigned cars starting in 1989. So with the first vehicles being actually the 1990, I believe, Escort and Tracer, they show the gas tank and an arrow pointing to which side of the car it is. Now, they never patented this. Jim did not, and Ford didn't. They didn't think it was technical enough. And other manufacturers began copying it as well, and now it's ubiquitous. But that first question I asked was, do you know? Because AAA Mid-Atlantic, back a number of years ago, did a study and found that only about 10% of drivers even knew about it. So is it required by regulation? The answer is no, it's not. Now, to me, the best place to put a fuel filler, your gas cap, would be in the middle, so it doesn't matter. And my first car, actually a 70s Buick, actually had it right behind the license plate. You just fold the license plate down and there's the gas cap, but that's not allowed anymore. As you could imagine, there's a number of regulations around the fuel tank and the fuel filler line. And you can't have it back here in a crush zone where a small fender bender could become, well, a raging inferno when gas leaks out of it. And the regulations do talk about some other things. For example, you can't have the gas cap, the fuel filler location, inside the passenger compartment. Not sure where that one came from. Also, it has to be at the widest part of the car. It has to be out of the crumple zones. There's some more around that, but basically manufacturers are allowed to choose which side of the car they put it on based on the packaging of everything up underneath the bottom of the car. But you do start to see some trends. Now, not every manufacturer puts an indicator of one sort or another inside the car. It's totally optional to them. And there's a few variations. You may see a manufacturer that puts the little fuel station symbol to one side of the gauge or the other to indicate which side the fuel filler is actually on. But you do start to see some trends with manufacturers preferring one side or the other. And it's based on where the company's actually from. For example, a Ford or maybe a Volkswagen will have it on what we would call the right side of the car, because we drive on the right side of the road. So if you're driving and you run out of gas and you pull over on the shoulder, when you come back with your gas can, you don't want to be hanging out in traffic where you could accidentally be clipped. You'd be over there, so you would be out of the traffic way. Well, similarly, countries where you drive on the left-hand side of the road, say the UK or Japan, they'll put it on the left side for the same reason, because you'd be in the left lane, pull on the shoulder to be away from traffic if you have to put in a can of gas. And it brings up why my Honda has it on the driver's side. It is a Japanese car company, and they've just always, by preference, put it over here Now, for me personally, that's my preferred location as well. When I pull into a gas station, I can better view how close I am to the bollards and to the pump itself, and where this is going to fall relative to the hose. So this is my preference, but there's absolutely no standard around it. And so I guess that's the answer to the question is, have you noticed it? When did it come about? Well, 1986 is when the idea was formed. It's not patented. It's not required. That's why there's no regulations requiring one side or the other for your fuel filler. And I think we should all be calling it the Moylan Arrow now. Thanks for watching, y'all. Appreciate you being here.